Hi, fifth grade families. This is Miss McBroom, and this video is all about subtracting decimals. This is a skill that your students really need to know for their upcoming test, and it's a skill that a lot of our students struggle with. So I'm going to go over 3 different strategies that students can use to subtract decimals. I do not care which strategy they use as long as it is helping them understand and get the right answer. So the first strategy we're looking at is the standard subtraction method that we want to eventually see kids getting to use. So I'm going to go through how to do that. And then, like I said, I'm going to go through 2 other strategies that maybe if your student is not able to grasp this, they can use one of the other 2 strategies. So this is 1 and 42 hundredths, and being subtracted from this value is 94 hundredths. Now, the first thing that you always want to make sure your student is doing is making sure that their decimals are lined up. That way that their place values are lined up. If you have a student who is trying to subtract 9/10 from 1 whole, you're not going to get the right answer. The place values have to be lined up. And anywhere that you see a value that is missing, when the other value has a number in a place value, you're going to add a 0. So right now I'm going to add a 0 here so that I have the exact same numbers in all of my place values, or the exact same number of numbers in all my place values. So you always start with the lowest place value. That way, if you need to borrow something, you can borrow from one of your higher place values. Now, the number one thing that I see students make a mistake on with subtracting is right here. 2 minus 4. Many students will write 2 because 4 minus 2 is 2. However, this problem is saying 2 minus 4. We can't do that. 2 doesn't have enough to give to take away 4. So we have to borrow from our neighboring place value, which is 4/10. So I would cross this 4 out, and this 4 becomes a 3. That 10th that I took from this place value now is going to get added to my hundredths place. So this is now 12 minus 4. We can do 12 minus 4. And 12 minus 4 is 8. So I'm going to put this 8 right down here. And then I'm going to move over to my next place value, my 10ths place. Again, we see a similar issue. 9 being taken away from 3. 3 minus 9. 3 is not a large enough number for me to take 9 away from it. So I have to, again, go next door and borrow from the neighboring place value. So again, I'm going to cross out the value I have next door. This 1 is now going to become a 0. And I'm going to add what I stole from here to my 10ths place. So now I have 13 minus 9, and I can do that. 13 minus 9 is 4, and I am done with my 10ths place value. The rest is easy. I have 0 minus 0, which is just 0. And I, of course, don't want to forget to bring down my decimal point. So the answer to 1 and 42 hundredths, when you subtract 94 hundredths, is 48 hundredths. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this problem in a different way. Like I said, some students might be struggling with this, and that's totally fine. So, the equation we're still working with is 1 and 42 hundredths minus 94 hundredths. Now, one way that students can subtract decimals is a strategy that we call adding to subtract, okay? Because sometimes it's easier for our students to understand addition than it is subtraction. So the basic thing to keep in mind with this is subtracting is finding the difference between 2 numbers. So if I start on a number line at 94 hundredths and I count up to 1 and 42 hundredths, whatever I counted to get me to this value is actually going to be the same answer as if I were to subtract it like in the last strategy. So I will start to take jumps on this number line from 94 hundredths until I get to 1 and 42 hundredths. And the total amount of jumps that I take is the same answer I would get if I did the last strategy. So the answer we're going to get is 48 hundredths, but I'm going to show you how we would get that by adding to subtract using a number line. So I always want to get my value to be a friendly number, okay? 94 hundredths is not a friendly number. Friendly number typically ends in a 5 or a 0. So in order for me to get this 94 hundredths to my next friendly number, to make this a 1 whole, it's going to have to add 6 hundredths. So I'm going to add 6 hundredths to my 94 hundredths to get me 1 whole, okay? 6 hundredths plus 94 hundredths gets me 1 whole, okay? So now I'm at 1 whole on my number line. And then I can take one last big jump of 42 hundredths, because that's the only thing that's different between 1 whole and 1 and 42 hundredths is 42 hundredths. So I'm going to add 42 hundredths. Okay, now I have made it all the way down my number line to 1 and 42 hundredths. To find my answer, how many jumps did it take? What is the difference between these two values? I'm going to add the 2 jumps that I took. So 42 hundredths plus 6 hundredths is 48 hundredths. And that is exactly the answer that I got when I did the last equation. 48 hundredths, okay? Everybody with me so far? The last strategy I'm going to show you is the strategy that is the most visual strategy for subtraction. It is one that we're trying to move away from. We definitely want to take kids more from the visual to the abstract concepts of math, which is the first strategy that I showed you. But again, if your student is struggling, please let them use and encourage them to use the strategy that is working best for them. So I'm going to make a chart right now. And I'm going to label my place values, okay? So the place values I have are my ones, my tenths, and my hundredths. And I'm going to draw each of my values in these charts, and I'm going to count them all up at the end. Or I'm sorry, not count them all up because we're subtracting. I'm going to draw these values and cross out the other value to subtract and take away. So remember, the equation we're working with is 1 and 42 hundredths minus 94 hundredths. So I'm going to draw this bigger value, and I'm going to cross out this smaller value. So I'm going to go by place value. I have 2 hundredths, so I'm going to go right here and draw 2 hundredths. I have 4 tenths, so I'm going to draw 4 tenths. And I'm going to draw 1 whole, 1 in my ones place. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to cross out this value that I am subtracting, okay? I have to cross out 4 hundredths. And now this is where the visual part comes in. I can see that I do not have 4 hundredths to cross out, which is a problem, which means I need to go next door and borrow one of my tenths. So I'm going to cross out this tenth, and I'm going to bring it to my hundredths place. And this tenth is worth 10 hundredths. So I'm going to draw 10 hundredths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I have enough where I can cross out 4 hundredths. So I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, which leaves me with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hundredths left. Okay. Now I'm going to move over to my tenths place. I have to cross out 9 tenths, okay? And again, that visual piece, I can see that I only have 3 tenths left, and I have to cross out 9 of them. That's a problem. So I'm going to go next door and borrow from the place value next door, my ones place. And this 1 is worth 10 tenths. So I'm going to draw 10 tenths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now I can cross out 9 tenths, and I'm going to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I'm left with 4 tenths. And I go over here and I see that I have 0 in my ones place. So I can see that my answer is 0 and 48/100ths, which is exactly what I got for the last two strategies. Go through these with your students, see what works best for them, and encourage them to use it. And eventually, when they master this, maybe you can go back, or I'm sorry, move forward and see if they're able to do the add to subtract method. And then finally, of course, we want to get them to the standard subtraction method. Please let me know if this is helpful or if you need anything else for this, but this is how to subtract decimals. Thank you.